Hey, we're back for another action-packed and informational segment here on the Patrick Regan Show and the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. Playing some more summer music there. Oh, yeah. We're also being broadcast on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. Really looking forward to the warm weather, although it's not too bad today here in Knoxville. It's, I don't know what the temperature, you know what the temperature is, Jay? Nope. Know what the temperature is? He's looking for the button to push.
I think it was, last check, it was around 73.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not bad. Very good. Didn't have to wear a coat on the way in. All right. You know, I can tell when a major personality on either television or radio starts saying something stupid, mainly because their lips are moving. But I can tell when something like that occurs because my email starts piling up not soon after it happens. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. In fact, I appreciate the notes because it alerts us to the story and we can start putting something together for the show that week. Speaking of which, I just want to say how much I appreciate everyone from, well, all over this great country, how much I appreciate all the support we receive for this radio show. And I'm talking all over this country. Every week I get notes and email from literally all across the United States. California, Washington State, Colorado, Utah, New York, Florida. Heck, we even got something from Puerto Rico this last week. Emails telling us how much they enjoy the show. And no, this station signal doesn't reach nearly that far, but our internet following is just growing more and more each day. Between our YouTube postings and Facebook, we are really starting to fan the flames of freedom and liberty within a whole bunch of people. Heck, even our Facebook is almost topped 20,000 people. 20,000 from all across this country. To put that into perspective, there are only a few major local 100,000 watt music radio stations that have over 20,000 people following them on Facebook. Most aren't even close. They'll have under 5,000. And this show is knocking at the very door of 20,000. That's why we need to get moved to a weekly time slot. Can you imagine how big this show would be then with a daily format? A 1 hour show on the weekend in the Knoxville market, and it's closing in on 20,000 people nationwide. People who have to listen over the internet because we aren't broadcast over there in their city. But the message we're sending out is so eagerly desired that listeners will tune in even over the internet. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I did want to express my appreciation for everyone listening, though, and for the vast and growing audience that this radio show is attracting. Thank you for that, and let's get on with this segment. I started receiving emails last Tuesday when on Rush's show, Rush Limbaugh's show, he was mentioning something on it about the judge who ruled about the NSA spying, and the judge had ruled it was unconstitutional. Now, we did put some links and posts about this story on our show's Facebook page on Monday, but I wanted to mention it on this week's show because it generates so much interest. And as you know, if you listen to the show a lot, we kind of follow that NSA spying thing. In case you missed it, here's a brief story of the ruling. This one's from Wired magazine, that is. America's founding fathers would be aghast at the NSA's bulk telephone metadata spying. A federal judge today said, finding that the program infringes the Fourth Amendment and the legal argument justifying it is, quote, this is what the judge said, the stuff of science fiction. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon in Washington, D.C. called the NSA program this is his words, almost-Orwellian, and ordered the NSA to stop collecting or analyzing the metadata of the two men who sued. But citing national security, Leon stayed his order pending resolution in the appellate courts. It was the first time a district judge has ever sided against the NSA program, and several other lawsuits across the nation are pending. I cannot imagine a more indiscriminate and arbitrary invasion than this systemic and high-tech collection and retention of personal data on virtually every single citizen for purposes of querying and analyzing it without prior judicial approval. That's what Judge Leon wrote. He also said, surely such a program infringes on that degree of privacy that the founders enshrined in the Fourth Amendment. Indeed, I have little doubt that the author of our Constitution, James Madison, who cautioned us to be aware of the abridgment of freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachments by those in power, he would be aghast. The ruling or others pending in similar cases is almost certainly going to reach the Supreme Court, but it isn't likely to get there for a year or more, meaning the collection program is likely to continue unabated. Judge Leon also said that the constitutional intrusion did not seemingly help the government perform its stated goal, which was to fight terrorism. Faizi Patel, a Brennan Center of Justice director, said the ruling decimates NSA's defenses of its telephone metadata program. He also said, confirms that who we call and when we call is our business, not the government's. And despite the NSA's claim the program's necessary, it was not able to convince the judge. When this ruling came out, now you can imagine that, well, I was understandably happy, but also a little annoyed that the judge immediately stayed his order for, quote, national security. He just ruled the NSA was spying, was unconstitutional, and more than likely didn't do anything to help fight terrorism. Nothing. But even though he just ruled this spying was unconstitutional and unnecessary, well, we better let them continue because this is national security interest. Never mind your constitutional interest. This judge, I believe, clearly violated his oath by not upholding the Constitution over the clearly questionable national security interest. No, your constitutional interests are not important enough when it comes to allowing the government to do whatever it needs to do. But what made my email blow up is what Rush mentioned on his show Tuesday. We had the staff go out and they got the audio for this so I could play it today, and we're going to play just a couple of clips of that. Here's the first clip from his show.
Like everybody else, when the ruling came down and it was found to be, NSA found to be unconstitutional, like everybody else, I sort of applaud it. If finally something this regime is doing, even if just a little thing here, is being found unconstitutional.
The reason I'm playing Rush is because he is the leader of the conservative movement, self-proclaimed, and other people have laid this on him as well. So this is why, if it sounds like I'm picking on him, I kind of am, but I kind of not, because he's the leader of conservative movement, and you conservatives, this is who's speaking for you. So when he initially heard about this ruling, he was happy about it. He found himself agreeing with the ruling and glad to hear what the court had decided. But after seeing a guest on Fox News express concern about it, Rush starts changing his mind. Now, this clip is a little long, but we'll go ahead and play it here for the break.
I was watching Fox today, and a man that I really admire, former Attorney General and a federal judge himself, Michael Mukasey, was being interviewed by Bill Hemmer. And Mukasey says he knows Judge Leon, the judge that made a ruling in the NSA case and found NSA data mining and the phone calls unconstitutional. Said, I like Judge Leon and I respect him, but he's dead wrong on this. He said the only thing the NSA is collecting is metadata. And Hemmer said, well, what's metadata? It's the phone number. And that it's basically the phone number of both phones, and it's nothing to do with the content, nothing to do with the identities behind the phone numbers. That's not possible to know. There could be anybody using anybody's phone to make a phone call. So there's no way that the NSA is spying on people here. They're simply collecting metadata, and therefore it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment. And he was really fervently serious about this, and he was worried that all of this hyper-attention and misunderstanding was going to end up really hampering national security apparatus.
So now all of a sudden, since this obviously government-friendly judge states he's worried about this ruling hampering our national security, now he's not so worried about this anymore. What I think this shows is you should watch who influences your decision-making and never put down your critical thinking skills. I've got some more of this, but we're rolling up on the half-hour break here. Yeah, we've just got a few seconds here. And we're not even a quarter way through this, what I want to talk about. But the remedy for that is we have the second half hour coming up right here in a minute. And we'll jump in and get as much done as we can during that half hour. That's all when we return. It is rolling up. I was just checking with Jay there, make sure my clock's right. when we return here on the Patrick Ringand Show and the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network.